Hi everyone, it's Cameron here from Cameron Teague Wealth Advisory. I just wanted to take some time today to do another case study. Just so you know, these case studies are based on real life situations that we've had in our business and just the outcomes that we can achieve through basically sitting down with the client and figuring out what our options are and providing strategic advice, which with CSS, by the way, which is what we're going to cover today, is essential for every single person with CSS. Probably one of the most complicated funds that you're ever going to find in Australia, and full of pitfalls that we need to avoid. We need to manage this situation and control it. The only way we do that is to get advice with a specialist in this area to make sure you're doing the right thing. So let's go into this particular case, and this is about a lady, a client who wanted to access her CSS, and it was after age 55, and we just want to discuss the relationship this has with 5411. So those of you who are aware of CSS would have probably heard of 5411 versus age retirement. So in this case we have Anne, and as it says there, not her real name. So Anne was 57 years old. She was a CSS member and she was continuing to contribute to CSS. So she had basically worked through her 55th birthday, passed through that critical age where 5411 is generally available, and had continued to work. Now, in this particular case, that was because of two reasons. One is Anne enjoyed what she was doing, and two, at that particular stage, she hadn't critically analysed what the options were at the time. But the key one was she still enjoyed her job, which is a pretty important, obviously, characteristic or issue here. So she came to see me at the age of 57, contributing CSS member, and she wanted to know what to do. Now, the government department she was working in had been going through quite a lot of restructuring, and that's not unusual in government departments, and it had made the job quite stressful. So she had never intended to retire at 57, but given the restructuring, it had made the job stress levels enhance a lot over the last couple of years. So what we did was we actually had a look at her situation and ran a few scenarios and strategies about how we could exit out of her role. Now, her initial request was to pull out within the next 12 months, and this was primarily driven by the stress levels, which I completely understand. So we engaged with Anne and we worked through some scenarios and came up with some recommendations. Now, as a result of the analysis and the strategic advice that we did do with Anne, we were able to have her exit the workforce within 18 months. Now, that's obviously versus her planned 12 months. However, the way we were able to achieve that exit in Anne's case, and remember this is unique to every individual, but in Anne's case, we were able to actually access the 5411. Now for her, by accessing that 5411, we actually increased her CSS index pension by about $45,000 annually. Now, over her lifetime, that has a rough estimate of about $1.12 million in lifetime benefit. Now, there was a couple of unique things that came together here. And it's really important to understand with CSS, everyone is unique. No two issues are really the same. So what I want you to take away from this, please, is that before you do anything with CSS, no matter if you are before or after 55, you must engage and start actually exploring what your options and limitations are. Please don't make decisions with CSS without getting advice. Doesn't matter if it's with us or with someone else who's experienced, but you must get advice. Okay, so with Anne, we actually came up with a really good outcome. The reason I wanted to do this case study is just to share that with you so you could see what we achieved there. Please understand this is general advice only. Everyone's situation is different. I must stress it's very, very important to get advice when you are a CSS member before you do anything. All right, hopefully you have taken something valuable away from that. Thank you.